We are now. Go for it, Joe.
Okay, this is a meeting of the Streets Committee of the Village of Minerva Park. It is 6:30 p.m. and attendance is Mayor Hughes, Councilwoman Schrimpf, Chairman Joe Curl, and committee member Tony Benedetti.
President of Council. So what's tonight's topic?
Well, I think he wants to, here's this. Let me give that back to you so you can, if you want to refer to it. Go ahead.
What I thought, because, I don't know, there have been many times when something just gets kind of laid out. We're supposed to make some choices or think about something and then decide in a meeting, or you get short notice. And so what I thought, Mike's coming out with this major thing at the end of the month. I thought it'd be a good idea just to be ready for it, because we pretty much know what'll be in there. More results from the televising,
Well,
things
I think
like
what I'm waiting to hear from is what is the plan for connecting to the Northland Plaza sewer. You know, that's the direction that it's supposed to go, but it's not connected. So
In other words, you mean the octopus goes down and then connects over there, downstream?
here, let me run down. This is the way it works. Coming from Cleveland Avenue.
Do you want to look at the map, or do we need a better map?
Well, this is all I got. I tried to get, that's one thing I'd like to do so we can understand it. If we just had a drawing of this thing beginning to end, we could be marking in there he may not take it in order. In other words, like whether the televising, the cleaning, they may work in different areas that didn't necessarily, in order. And we could keep track of that and what choices we have to make. And I was, it's kind of premature to even think about that until Mike gives his report, but we could be ready to ask whatever questions.
I'm hoping that his report, okay, here's the way it goes, Joe, is that this is Cleveland Avenue. This is our line to a certain point here where it becomes the 54 buildings line, and then it becomes our line again, and then that goes on until it dead ends. But we're thinking that there's a line coming from, or it is, connected there.
So he just found that.
Right. So what we're in the process of doing is waiting for him to, because in his last email, I don't think he said that he had recommendations. He said, but I didn't see, it said below. He had recommendations below in his last email, but there wasn't anything below.
Yeah, that's when he emailed those 3 recommendations, option 1, 2, 3. Wasn't that the one, or is there another one?
Well, it was.
Does anybody know where that is, so we could, if we could pull it,
it'd
be nice to print that.
The village.
That's what I was looking for.
All of this drainage ended up going into
It ends up going into the Northland Plaza line, which ends up going back into our line, which is at where the East Shore Court project.
Oh, I was hoping we could hook it up to the mall and forget it, and all this water would go in there. This other line would be more manageable.
Yeah, the one though behind the mall goes to. It ends up in North Lake.
This is mine.
Right.
It tries to get to
It comes down through where the East Shore thing is. But he did say he discovered that this jumps across
maybe it's this right
the boundary and it goes over to the mall. Well, wouldn't that be nice if all this stuff from Cleveland Avenue and this market and this stuff right up to behind Tiffany.
The Jordan Road area storm sewers.
That's exactly what I'm printing right now.
Terminate at
I
the
just
mall.
found that.
Well, and he never said that was going to happen, or it does happen. He didn't say that.
He did say, he indicated that he thought what Tony said.
Well, this is
that it went across.
This is where you're going to have.
And then it comes back across. Which doesn't seem like a very. Now, when you say this line belongs to, does that belong to the market or to this building?
The building beside it.
Okay.
But there's supposed to be some kind of an agreement between the Yasmin Market people and 5454 about.
But it empties into our storm sewer.
Yeah.
So if we need to do something with that, we basically got the say.
Well, I counted it.
Is that, I don't know where the property line is for that building.
It's a PDF.
Did you find another one?
Yeah, well, I found a PDF.
Sewer appears to have been added by the shopping strip owners as a relief.
Well, this one has the pictures.
Well, I think.
That's the one I just printed.
Okay.
It may just daylight, I presume that means that it opens into the air.
Yeah. Yeah. The PDF is the maps of the area with the little notes underneath that are hard to read.
You and I talked about that, Tony, we could get some chart.
Okay, here's all this.
I would think Mike could make one
Well, this
without
is
too much
it
trouble.
was in my, in that. I mean, I
This?
see, well, he's got all this stuff here.
Oh, that's the other one. That's got, okay,
That's the
print
one
that.
now. Print it.
Okay, forward it to me, I'll print it. You sound like me. I've gotten good at
So I
this.
said, I had to ask my son about the menu button, you know, I don't know.
How in the
Do you
world
have the one now
I
that
saw
says?
another menu button that's just 3 dots.
If we
June
wanted,
25th. I just need to pull up the email from June
Tony,
25th.
if we wanted to get a larger chart that basically covered this whole thing down in North Lake.
Well,
Can we
we're
morph
about
it?
to get one here, I think she's.
I would think Mike could whip one of those out. I mean, not that it'd be in 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but.
The good news is, Joe, is that we're getting close to,
Yeah.
you know, I think this email that I didn't look at completely
It
has all of
starts at
his
7:31
suggestions for how to
a.m.
go about fixing this.
Well, you know,
have
all
to
the
kind of pop
suggestions
back up
popped up
to see
once
it.
this became the
I've
priority.
got
I never
these
saw it
maps, but
before.
Tony has a
But I
different
guess
one.
that's the way it
Well,
goes.
it's, well,
It
it's
was
been
at
an
7:31
It's been an
a.m.
Got it.
evolving process. The
Yes.
unfortunate thing is that we started the East Shore Court project before we started doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
this has come up again.
But we never
A
stopped
bunch of
doing-
things
I mean-
about the
Well,
East
there's
Shore
still-
County.
Historically, no one ever stopped trying to do Jordan Road, they just, you know, we just got the right person in Columbus, you know,
Well,
frankly.
it's sent us, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
but people have been talking to Columbus for years and getting nowhere.
Well,
And
I
then we
suggest,
finally got somebody who was able to read a map and say, hey, how about this?
I suggested
pretty cool.
to
I mean,
Mayor Hughes a long time ago that we
serendipitous.
all pack up and go down and do a presentation to Columbus City Council.
Well, they already, years
And they
ago,
can do something.
but years ago, they sued the city of Columbus for the water problem. They got their hand slapped and
Well,
they
there's
lost
more
the
than one,
case.
there's more than one water problem,
That one,
and things have
that one at
changed.
Cleveland Avenue. They sued for the one at Cleveland Avenue
Right.
because they were
But we have
convinced
the
that
one
they,
coming under the bridge
oh,
too.
yeah, well, that, yeah.
And
They've,
That's
now,
not,
I'm
that's
not
not.
making an issue of this, but virtually every piece of silt that comes into the South Lake is coming from Columbus, down the river.
No, it's
No,
coming
it's
from
coming down the whole ravine.
The whole ravine, the whole.
Right.
that's
Okay,
her
well, don't
backyard,
worry.
her backyard.
Yeah, my backyard.
There's that one.
People's yards are getting eaten away.
Isn't there riprap? I've never been in your
Please,
backyard.
people,
There's-
quit commenting.
There's no
The only
riprap there?
riprap is at the Cleveland Avenue. That's
oh,
all.
it just takes forever.
See, this is something, Joe, you get this right here. This is in an email that was sent on, what'd you say, the 25th?
Yeah,
On the 25th, there was an email sent out that has this and some other stuff.
Yeah, I
But
saw
this
this.
is,
I didn't
that
print it,
is,
but I
and
saw it.
that- I haven't had a chance to look at it, but those are his recommendations for addressing that problem. The Jordan River may go away.
Jordan River.
That's what we can call it. I was
Well, it's
calling it
already- it's
the Park
already-
River. Let's
It's
check-
already been called the Jordan River.
Okay.
The Baptist guys are ready to baptize back there.
I know, the people next to them, on the other side of Tiffany, when I walked through there during the big storm, they were in their raincoats too, standing out in the back. So I had a long conversation with some of the people that live up there. Now on the East Shore job, I was getting in my car to come over here, and the neighbor, no, he comes running out. He goes, that guy over there, So, the guy
Yeah,
said,
you're gonna do it too, Joe.
Somebody
This
said
is like
something-
a drawing of back, that's.
if somebody mentioned East Shore to the guy, and he said, I don't wanna hear this crap. They've
Yeah.
been telling me this for 10 years.
Yeah, well, longer than that, so as long as he's been there, but it's been longer than that. But yeah, I wouldn't wanna hear the crap.
Well, I didn't have time to
Just fix
say,
it.
well, you-
It's a-
I just grabbed a
Whether
couple.
they ever do it or not, the job's
You got
getting
the
ready to
second
go
part,
out to
which
bid.
is the actual, is,
I think there's
There's
one, let me
changes, they
see,
should
you might
be
have the only one of
before.
those, let me go print that, a couple of those.
no, it wasn't that one, it was, in the body of the email,
This-
he said 1, 2, 3, 4.
That is option one, existing condition, option one, option two, option three. Those, or are you talking about another email?
It's the actual body of the email that says attached, please find 4-page document.
Can you print? If you're on
No,
Wi-Fi?
I don't, have.
Forward that to me.
Printed it for your printer here, so.
Yeah, just print, send that.
um,
Yeah, I did this, but. We'll get there.
I'm glad to get these, because this is sure easier than me doing with my phone.
Yeah, I'm printing another one.
I need to bring down that laptop thing, whatever it was you gave me. 'cause-
The iPod?
Yeah, the iPad, I would ever use that.
I had a really good iPad, it lasted 4 days, the gardener stole it.
Oh my god.
Didn't have the guts to buy another one. Thing was $700 some bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, this, I'm sorry I didn't catch it sooner and seen this. Well, it's gonna take a minute for me to digest all this.
See, I see where it says 1 and 2. So yeah, I'm missing something. Cause here's like where it talks about attached as a 4-page document, the tour, that's like the,
That's it, that's what I was, yeah.
just number 1 and number 2?
Yeah, that was it. It just explains what you're looking at on the diagrams.
Let me print more of that.
25th,
Yeah,
the same as that other one?
Yeah.
yeah, that was just like the,
Well, I think we could discuss like what the general approach is. I don't think we're literally down to micromanaging this. I mean, the engineer's gonna have reports and we may agree with some of it or not.
Well, I think what we need to do is take a look at these different options and see
Right.
which one we wanna do. Isn't that what where we're at right now?
Well, I
would think
think
so.
Mike was gonna give us,
My question is
after
how
he'd
we-
analyzed all the flow line stuff, he was going to give us one more take on,
If
right
we-
now,
if we
this
had a
is his
large
impression
drawing
right
of
now.
all of it, I
He was
could
gonna
mark-
give us one more suggestion after he got done analyzing all this stuff.
All right, okay.
So
If we
I
had a
think we should
large
just
drawing
wait.
of all of it, or if we could blow these up, then
Well, I think we.
I can enter the notes.
Is start taking a look at this and get up to speed on this.
I did see this when it was sent out, but I didn't review it.
Maybe we can,
Well, we have this, but don't we have a couple small chores that we could get out of the way, like, weren't there a couple small things we were supposed to?
well, we were gonna talk about the street sign.
Street sign, and,
yeah, the street signs
The
down there.
parking lot, or the pool
Pool
parking
parking
lot?
Pool parking lot, leaving it gravel, getting more gravel next year. The other thing is, Brian has observed some failing, I'm gonna call it failing, curb and gutter already in the new MI section. He sent some pictures to myself, Joe, I don't know if he sent it to you guys too, but we have those, 3 different areas. The other thing, cause, okay, Streets does do all the signs.
That's something we could bring up, has been brought up recently, is the crappy sign on Westville Road.
Oh, well, that goes back to 2018. It's just that, I remember that, someone bringing it up in 2018, that crappy sign there. We just didn't want to tackle it at the time, I guess, because there were other things that we had to spend money on. But I think, my personal opinion is we should take the damn thing down because
It's hideous.
It's hideous. And no one can see it. I mean, by the time you're so, at least me, I'm so focused on hitting the street and not the garage and the guy's house right there and just getting in just right.
Exactly.
I'm
So
right
last
there,
thing-
and I look at the
last thing-
street light at night because that's my beacon at night. And the last thing I look for is this little wooden brown sign.
I'm with you, it's outdated, needs fixed, and just, yeah, and I
Rip it
think
out.
the answer is just yank it out of there.
Then they can't talk about how bad it is anymore.
Which street is
It's not
this,
there.
Tony?
The other thing for signs, and you
what
know,
do you-
this might just not be of interest to anybody
Or is
here.
that- oh, no.
I
This
really have
road
interest in
has-
changing the pool signs that say Minerva Park
Is that
Swim
why?
Club.
No, this is Georgia.
I just wanted to say Minerva Park Pool.
But the note must apply.
I mean, I don't know if anybody
to
has
this
issue
line.
with that. I mean, I don't, maybe,
But
I would
this
like to
note
see
is
it.
exactly what's
I would
happening.
have, yeah, I'm all for that like 4 years ago, yeah.
okay, I mean, it's
Because
like
this
$56.
sewer
I wanna do
acts as a
blue
relief
signs with
point.
white, because blue's water, pool,
When flow
whatever.
backs
Minerva
up,
Park
you know,
Pool.
it's so-and-so and
That's
so-and-so,
like
it
as
backs up
crazy
to
as I want it to be.
so-and-so and
One for down there and
overflows
one for right in front of the.
from this structure and then
And I think you
flows
need one on both
overland
sides, so I
to
think
the
there might
east.
be four.
Well, that's exactly
One
what
on this side,
happens
one on
there.
this side. I
It
don't know
comes
which
up
one.
out of the catch
But I have to figure that out. I think there
basin,
might be four.
That's what I think they're talking about.
But I would like to see
For
that.
putting that sign there, I mean, for replacing that sign there,
Yeah.
I wish we would have one that says caution children crossing or something like that.
That's
right?
another good one. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot
Three
of,
these
and then
one of
this
these,
might
and
not
one
have
of
to
these.
do with streets, but I'm gonna bring it up. There's an intent to
I mean,
purchase,
there may be some,
no dumping in reserve areas.
Okay.
And the plan is for
You're gonna have to
8.
put signs up.
They're,
Even
well,
though they're
I'm
hideous.
just
Even though
telling
they're-
you, we're gonna
I
get
know
our
hideous.
earful. I'm warning you. But I'm tired of the complaints, and at least this way we can.
Well, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves with, I think the conversation maybe in planning and zoning is, what are we gonna allow people to do in those reserve areas?
Well, they're not allowed to dump, and I think that's all the
Well,
signs are for.
We need to, well, I mean, I've had time to think about it. I'm not saying anybody should be allowed to dump, you know, but throwing a freaking branch back into there.
The
I mean,
problem
I'm
is
saying-
one
about-
branch turns into two, and I'm
I-
not in disagreement, but one branch turns into two. Well, we have somebody that is every single week dumping their grass clippings, and then you have
Well,
grass clippings that are up to
I'm
here
not
because they're
saying
not
dump-
deteriorating.
I'm not saying.
But
don't
if you
be
let
able to
one-
dump-
they
I'm
support
not
Well,
trying to be able
right,
to dump
and
grass.
Grass
let
piles
your dog
support
make
rats
that
and
their
stink.
personal poop area.
I'm
as well.
not endorsing throwing grass clippings, but I wouldn't say we're
But
doing
people, some
this.
people just don't know the difference. I mean, they don't see
Well, and
it.
that's why I think we need to decide.
Don't dump it,
And all,
period.
the other thing is about the cutting of the grass, is the other conversation I think we need to talk about, is what do we want to allow them to do and not to do?
Well, and I think, and whether or not
And,
it's.
and it's different, I think some areas are different than others, you know, like some of those that, you know,
You're
like
hitting it on the
right
head.
on the lily pond, I think, you know, in the reserve areas, is we should take care of that.
Uh-huh.
But then on the other hand, you got Lisa, this is a whole other side of
Okay.
it, is you got Lisa cutting our grass in one spot. It's okay for Lisa to cut our grass by her house, but it's not okay for everybody else, so this
But
is.
then you have the Farview 4 that isn't cutting the grass, and we're cutting the grass at Farview 4. Those 4 houses on the corner are not cutting anywhere near
The fence?
the fence or further down, but yet in the new section, you are required to cut between the sidewalk and the street.
Yeah, but I don't know how anybody could, there's code about cutting the grass, even if it is in the right of way.
Right, exactly, but what's the
But
difference?
there's a
No, I'm
difference between
saying-
a right of way and a reserve.
Oh no, totally different, but I'm saying, we're having issues with them not doing it, but yet it's expected for them to do it over here, because we've had to cite people over there for not doing it, because they don't think that it's theirs to cut between the sidewalk and the street, but then these people aren't doing it, and I mean, it's taken because of the fence, which is great.
Well, and I know Segovia is one of those,
Mhm.
and that's his whole issue with it is, I didn't ask for this fence, and if it's in the right of way, you guys take care of it.
but the sidewalk is no different. Those people are, in my opinion, and that's just, again, now we're kinda getting off topic,
It's
but,
been standard to mow to the curbs. since I
correct,
was
but they're not
born.
doing it, at the Farview 4.
But that, see, that's
But
one
where the sidewalk is,
You
okay,
know,
but,
if you're gonna enforce codes about cutting
Oh,
grass,
I
then
didn't
that's
know it
one of
was
them
that,
that should be enforced.
I didn't realize it was theirs, I just thought it was, I don't know what I thought.
the issue is it's not just where the fence is, if you go further down, it is just sidewalk in between the two. And that's where that's no different than what they have over there. So like where the fence is, I can understand, and again, I'm just saying, I'm in agreement with you. We're letting Lisa do it, they're not doing it, we're making them do it. There's a girl on Green Line Way that wants to do her own, and she's watching Lisa do it, so, but then there's people that are mad because Lisa and them are doing it and taking care of it like their own, but it's saving us money, headache, hassle. And if it's done right, if it's not broke, don't fix
think
it,
it
but
comes
that's not, I'm not, you see
Full
where I'm going
circle,
with it.
maybe-
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing
and
devil's
now,
advocate.
Unfortunately, if it was someone,
Well, you're hearing both sides.
if it was
of
someone
That's-
besides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if it was someone besides Lisa that weren't so prominent
Correct,
in the village, so it looks like favoritism.
correct.
Well, and
It
doesn't
is, it
really-
just looks like that, I'm just saying.
No, it does.
It just looks like it.
Oh, no, this is one Tony and I will completely agree with. You can't do for one and not do for another because somebody else wants to cut it because she doesn't like the way, and it's not
The
a.
thing that's so ironic about this is Lisa's the one that complains the most about other people cutting the grass. And
Well-
she's the one that's
Well, and
doing
I,
it.
you
And
know,
there's a difference between cutting the grass or letting it grow.
and it may be,
Next person might
especially
go,
with the
"I don't want
reserve
my
areas,
grass to
maybe
seed,"
that
so.
a project for code enforcement to go to different houses and make agree, I don't know.
Well, I
mean,
think,
some
I'm going
things
back to,
you-
I think it's something that we need to talk about in planning and zoning.
Right.
Because we already.
We've
What?
brought it up because that's where we had the discussion before, because we had to tell people that we put signs
Yeah, we
out,
put
and I
signs already.
did, that says no mow.
No, mowing.
I believe it just says no mow,
No,
and
it
I
needs
had
be
to hear
mowing
from,
and dumping.
and I had 3 different phone calls, madder than mad, because now we have to look at this sign. Whew, so, and just after that post this weekend, putting a communication board out there, to communicate, because we don't have one in that section.
I don't think, honestly, when it comes to the signs, I don't think we need the signs. And that, I think you
I
just
got-
need to keep
The
drilling
problem-
it
the problem is
home to the
you're-
people that live there.
You're.
I had a
It's
complaint.
not like you're getting
you're
people from
not
out of the neighborhood.
You're not communicating. The Frank, or the state of Ohio is just old fashioned with these message board things in the community. They're old fashioned, it's not,
Well,
I mean, I think if it weren't, a statutory thing,
Right.
then, why would we care? And if, what we've done is we've made do with the pool area
Correct.
and this one.
And
here
that's the
that one
problem,
there.
and
We
my,
made
yeah,
do, and I think we should keep making do, and
I think,
we
and that's.
just need to, if we think we need to.
We've actually had people request one over there, so as an FYI, this didn't come from me. This actually came from somebody wanting one in the new section, and that was the idea.
Okay.
Because it's centrally located over there, it is if we
Someone
did
else
it,
said it should go over there?
I have heard it from more than one person,
That
do
it
you
should
think
go
I
there.
thought of it myself?
No, but going there?
Yeah,
Well, why
because
do-
it's centrally
well, that
located.
Brings up a good
Well,
point
that's
for
not
me.
what, well, I totally agree, you should always talk to neighbors before you put something up. I know it's a bit petty, but.
No, okay, well,
I do believe that.
right, but even if they say no, we still have 250 new houses from all the residents that didn't want them.
Well, I know, but there's a couple of people that said they think that's a good spot, obviously they don't live there,
Oh, actually, they do.
on the same street.
Well,
They live right by there.
They're gonna
It's
be able to
neither
see
here
it
nor,
from
I
their
didn't want a
house.
drug rehab facility in my backyard either.
But they
So-
can see it from their house, the ones that suggested it can see it from their house.
I would assume so. I know the person lives on Green Line, or on Black Sycamore.
It's a long street.
Yeah, it's a long street, but again, it's essentially, if we're gonna start doing that, because the other person didn't like the fact that there's a picnic table there. So, I mean, are we gonna start asking people if we can put a picnic table somewhere? Are we gonna start asking people if we can put a trash can somewhere?
I really
I had
do
a call
think
today
that
and
people
somebody
would have
mad
more
about the signs.
ownership of this stuff if we gave them, if we
Better
actually.
boxes.
So what happens when 3 people say yes and 3 people say no? Then if you do it, then you didn't listen to me. That's the
No,
other.
I
And
think
being in this position, I will tell you, you're not going to please everybody, and I've gotten out of that. I've
No,
just
no,
gotten
I'm
to the
not
point.
saying- I'm
If it's a structure like the amphitheater, I mean, we've had the discussion of not even discussing the amphitheater and getting them involved. Did we not have people saying that?
that we need to get people involved.
But we've also had people saying that we don't.
Well.
Yeah.
You will always have
COVID
people saying they
did
don't want other people involved because they don't want
And
to
it's the
mess
same thing
with
with
their
the,
idea.
but I mean, it was the same conversation that we had with the structure over at the, next to the basketball court. You know, how involved are we gonna let these people be? How involved are we gonna be if we're putting?
I think it was good that we got everybody's riled up about the basketball court. and
But we did it
people got-
anyways.
But people got the chance to say something about it, and I got a chance to say no, and I didn't get it, and I'm not hiding in my house and never speaking to anyone again, because they put a basketball court, I'm not doing
Right.
that. I feel like I at least got my say, and it didn't go my
Well,
way, and life doesn't always go your way.
But I
But
think
at
not
least I
everybody
got
thinks
my
that
say.
way.
It's not a surprise, it's not a surprise.
But I would say not everybody thinks like you.
Well, yeah, some people hold a grudge forever, but.
Because I got a couple of those.
Yeah.
No, my point to a message board is, this is, in my opinion, this is something that needs to be, like, I had somebody reach out to me and say we needed to put it at Minerva Lake Road and Westerville Road. That defeats the entire purpose of having something in the
That
middle of
doesn't
200
make
and,
any sense.
I
You don't
understand.
want
That's
them
not
to
even in
the
Minerva
beginning of that
Park.
street to look
But
at.
here was the
What is
actual,
it for?
okay, so the actual what?
What is that board for? Just for posting meetings?
Posting meetings on one side, and on the other side, we could post the newsletter, we could post updated information, we could have put something for National Night Out, we could have put different things
See,
for
you know,
different
the
things.
put
problem
a
is
map
with
of
the
the-
people, with a lot of the people that responded to that, you know, the unfortunate thing is that we spent years not keeping that one updated.
Where?
Not timely.
Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna tell you. That
I
thing
know
has been
that you-
updated for 2 years,
I know
like
that you
clockwork.
have. I know you have.
But the people that are commenting are new residents. That thing has not been out to date since I've been here.
Yeah.
We go out there and do it before.
It's always been up to date.
I have never seen that board not, I will agree, I didn't wanna disagree with you, but
Yeah.
I've never seen that board not up to date, even when Lynn was
then,
here.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
always.
no.
And that board is updated, they all are, in those
Yeah,
comments.
this board is
It
on
was
the
everything
building
for me
there.
not to say
You're
something
talking
because
Yeah.
I know it's updated. I watched them walk those out there. I personally have walked them more than,
All I'm saying is that you know, just driving by, walking by, looking, how many people stand in front of there and read those? Not very many, a few do,
if you do.
2 a week.
You talking about at this board
No,
here?
Or
yeah,
come
I
to the
see
door
more
and
than
look, I mean, you know, for those people that,
I can tell you over the years, I have, you know, a couple of times, because of my intense involvement in the village, have run over here
Yeah.
to see if something was posted.
Right.
But I
I can
Out of
name
the
several
ordinary.
that I've seen out there, actual people that I know their names. The only point I'm gonna make, and we need to get back off topic, is the whole purpose of the post is, again, to get people involved. That was the purpose of getting people involved. The whole purpose of it is they could have said, let's use this material, let's set it on this side, let's put it over here. It didn't have to be front and center. Nobody said it was gonna be front and center and blocking it. It could have been around the back side. It could have been over by the sidewalk. It could have been in a bazillion different areas in that particular area. And to automatically go to not in my backyard, instead of being proactive and saying, you know what, I don't love that it's here, but if we put it further back, if we did this, you know, let's put it along the trail in the back corner where it's not blocking anything. Let's use natural materials. That's the whole purpose of it. I mean, you could have actually turned this conversation into something that was not so negative, but Facebook, that's just the way that they are. And it is very disappointing. This was an opportunity, to communicate. This is an opportunity to communicate. And I'm gonna say something and it's on this record. I hope to goodness gracious nobody starts complaining to me that they didn't know about any of the other 12 things that they're gonna tell me they didn't know about, because those people on there said that we communicate too much from the comments that I read. We have so many forms of communication. That is, and they actually started wording that.
not everybody.
And I'm just saying, for
It
those
was
people.
split 50-50.
Okay.
I don't know,
because
they say
half
that
of them
we
are-
communicate, someone says we're communicating
Yes,
too much?
she said between the newsletter
Oh,
and the,
well,
you know,
I
all of
would,
those
no,
different
I don't
forms
think
of
they say we
communication.
communicate too much, they're just saying that
Well, I
there are
think
a
you
lot
covered
of
this, but I had
ways.
called today and
that
somebody
we
going,
communicate.
well, this message board, this new section, this message board is blocking my view, gonna block.
but
They
who
didn't
said
say
it
to
was gonna be
communicate
right in,
too
smack
much.
dab in the middle? I mean, that's what Larry talking about, it's gonna put it in the middle of the lake. I'm kidding, totally kidding. No one said anywhere, all we said is this area.
I've never seen it, I'm not taking sides, so I
We
just,
haven't done anything, it was to get people's input of, again, materials, They could have gotten involved and said, let's put it over towards the path, let's put it back behind, like right in where the real high grass is. There was never a thought to put it right front and center, right smack dab in the middle of the lake. So it's.
Yeah, but I think the issue, what you're missing here is the issue, do we need the darn thing at all? This one,
Okay, well, dude, we don't
just
need any,
because
we don't,
a couple people mentioned it to you.
but we don't need a structure either. We don't have to go put, because not everybody's gonna use it. So that can be used for everything. I mean, I have people that don't,
What do we,
a pavilion, people
Oh.
don't, or an amphitheater. Do we need any of this stuff? No, we could just all continue to save the money and not do it. So my point is, that can be separated.
What the hell, a pavilion has a lot of benefits. A message board has very little benefits and a lot of.
A piece of communication, which you're one of the prime suspects of complaining that we aren't communicating enough. So if we had an article that we could post about this or that, we could again put it in there. It's simply a matter of, it's another form of communication. It was a post.
It's a form of communication that's only gonna work for the handful of people that walk by that.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna get out of their car and go look, if it is back way, and go look at it. So it's a benefit, it's a cost benefit. And the benefits, it benefits a few people, and it needs to be maintained and kept up to date, because if you don't keep it up to date, it's just it's a burden to have to keep it up to date. And if you have to add another, but we already have to do that in, 3 places already.
Five.
And, or we're supposed to do 5, but we'd only do 3.
We do.
Am I right?
1, 2.
I
We
think
do
we
the
do
The problem
four.
is we do 3 here, which is not what we should be doing. There are 2 right there, and then 1 out of the street. We are not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, you do the pool, and you do
It's supposed
the
to be.
pool, the
My
playground, and
understanding
2
was
here.
The 3
There's
places
3.
are here, the pool,
There
and
is
the
3.
playground. But that isn't being done. You're saying that, and I.
Oh, the pool is being done, and the playground is being done. I walk them over there.
Well, then that's the 3. So they're
No,
saying
there has
that
to
the
be
5.
There's 5.
Well, 5 because
No,
3 of them are here.
ORC is 5. That's why we have 3 in this building.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I don't, we're just, to say that 3 of them are right here in this
They
building
are.
because they're, well, I know what we're doing, okay? But to say that
We're
that.
just trying to meet that,
We're just
Yeah,
trying
right.
to meet the
But-
5.
But what I'm saying is that nobody goes to those things to get in.
Don't say nobody because somebody asked for one.
Well, there's other ways to go about, it's like.
Okay, this is a streets meeting, so
Yeah.
we're obviously not
Well,
gonna get
we
anywhere.
need, well, you're right, because we need to have
That's what I was
conversations,
thinking.
with the group.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Getting back into
But
it.
it's only what you want.
This isn't a streets conversation,
Oh,
Tony.
well,
This was
we're
a
having a
Facebook
conversation. It's a conversation we're having.
Okay, but
Let's
it's been
not talk
30
about
minutes that we've been talking about something, and Diane's looking at me like this is not what we should be talking about right now. So I'll talk about it all night. We're gonna agree to
We need
disagree.
to talk about it at some point.
Well, I'm fine with that. I don't know that it
Well,
seems
where's
to
the
me
right,
that.
where does that fit in?
It
If
seems
the
to
board's on
me
the
these
street,
small
so we can
things
say it's a
that
street.
are not necessarily need to be planning and zoning. I mean, planning and zoning should be looking at big
Again, this
things
is
like
an
the
administrative
pavilion,
thing.
like the
This is
pavilion.
not a council thing. This is an administrative thing. I'm just gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
it is.
I mean, if we decide to put a sign up somewhere, we decide.
Yeah.
We were trying to be nice by giving people the opportunity to get involved and put it in a place that would be beneficial to people, getting materials that would be beneficial to what people want. That was the
You
whole
were-
purpose of the post.
Yeah, but you all assumed that people knew what a communication board was. And so
But
it
she
it
posted
was
pictures
not,
of
it
it.
was not, but it wasn't explained that as a requirement of the village, blah, blah, that we're supposed to have, we have one here in front of the building, but it is not enough. And we really are required to have another one, and the purpose of this board then is to meet state requirements by putting in our,
Oh, I don't
upcoming
disagree.
meetings, blah, blah, blah.
But
And
again-
then after that, say, now, it was suggested that perhaps it'd be here. What do you guys think?
And again, it would have
It-
been, and
people
you're not,
would've-
and you're not in disagreement. This was a Friday post that honestly was not
Well,
expecting.
I know, and just people slam stuff out of
Uh-huh.
Facebook, and then
Oh, yeah.
everybody loves miscommunication. Everybody loves to get on there and feel bad and hurt
Yeah,
and start getting insulted.
but
I mean,
it's
they
a-
just.
they
just-
feel alive if they're arguing, and
Yeah,
if they're
yeah.
given a compliment, they feel
Exactly.
dead or something.
You just want to narrow in that, to stop arguing about something that I didn't mean to say and talk about something I did mean to say.
No, that's typical. I mean, that's just Facebook. And just so you guys are aware, and I know this is not, that's why I have not been on Facebook. Anybody else wants to control Facebook, go for it. I go on there, I see what's going on, and I turn it off. I do not communicate
I just
because
thought it
I
was-
don't have the time for it.
I'm just fascinated, the only thing is I'm fascinated, I'm not on there all the time, but
No.
I am fascinated what people getting the heat about. I mean,
That's my point.
I think it's amazing. If
Mm-hmm.
you told me that there were gonna be 64 twos and fro's on a stupid sign, I would have said, nah, it's not gonna happen. I just think it's interesting what people get their undies
Well,
about. I think it's really.
I mean, don't you, but I don't understand why you don't see that there is an issue with the things that we're doing. And that's what
There
gets
is an
people,
issue?
well, we're just putting a sign up. The
Well-
sign that you're putting a sign up there.
I think that,
I think trying to get an approval to put a sign up
Uh-huh.
every single place, we would never get anything done.
I think that when you said you're putting a bulletin board up, I mean, I don't know when somebody said putting it here, and I don't know where that is. I mean, I know where the street is, but I don't know where the sign would go.
We
But-
haven't made any decisions. That was the whole purpose of the post,
See, I would
was to
put
get
it
people
on
to.
to me, I would put it on the walking path where you've got woods
Again,
on one side.
You are probably correct. We never went that
You've
far.
got
We were
woods
just
over here,
trying to
and
get an
it's not
idea.
gonna- And people on the walking path can have an opportunity to look at the sign and see what's going on.
No, you are not wrong. That was the whole purpose.
That would
Nobody
be
had.
logical to me.
Nobody said we were putting it. That was the whole. I mean, and you're not incorrect by thinking that people just went crazy. But instead, I think my problem with Facebook is instead of. Why didn't somebody just say, what's the purpose behind this? They automatically just go for the throat.
Yeah.
And nobody has decided exactly where it's going to be. Nobody's decided materials. Nobody's decided anything. This could have been a wonderful community project that we could all decide and maybe decide that it needed to go over towards the school or this or that, which is their property, not ours. I understand people had said, let's put it over there, and then those people may not like it. The whole point of the post was to get people involved and to get an idea of what people would like to see in the event it was close by to them. But nobody said we're going to put it, like the lake's right here, and we're going to put it right smack dab in the front as an eyesore. That was never the intent, to put it right in front of everything. But that's not how people take Facebook,
I
and
get
you
it.
just move on.
I thought it was really interesting
Blame
the
it on
direction it went.
Facebook. It's just, no.
The whole point to it is, Tony, I don't have time to deal. Now, you had said that we need to follow up on Facebook, and I don't believe we do. I think it's a great thing that I'll flip through every once in a while, but it has I don't have the time
Okay,
for it.
well, that's fine, because what'll end up happening is either myself or Scott Humphreys will
Which is like-
send you an email.
And Scott
say,
did
"What
send
do
me
you
a
think
great
of-"
email.
Right,
And I would prefer that. I think that's what we're missing.
Okay,
Because A, it's a public
let me
record.
just tell you, right, and then
That
if
needs
you
to
got
be.
a problem, see, this is my issue with you, is that you talk about, I don't have time to monitor Facebook.
I don't.
But you absolutely monitor it so closely, because
I
you
went on
post
it
something and
once.
within 17 minutes, or a response.
No.
So don't tell, yes, because I watch it.
Okay,
Pay attention
there's
to when
two people-
something's posted and when you respond. And most of the time,
right.
it's within 30 minutes when you decide to respond.
When I'm
And it's
on
throughout
there.
the day. Right.
When I'm on there. But understand this,
That's what-
I have been in an appointment all day today, so if people believe that I'm going to respond to Facebook, I have not. I will promise you, go on my phone. I have not been on Facebook for 2 minutes today. At all. Not one time. So I don't have time for it. On the weekends, like yesterday, I was on there 3 or 4 times. I read a lot of the comments, but I don't have time to. Nobody said I don't go on Facebook. I don't have time to monitor Facebook.
So that's what I'm trying to, I don't think you're understanding, is that nobody's asking you to be on there 24/7. But when you become aware of a situation and to choose not to respond to it on Facebook.
No, I won't respond on
there's-
Facebook.
Well, see,
Absolutely
that's-
not.
That's a hypocrisy in the eyes of the residents.
Okay, and I can explain that. Because as soon as you post one, you're interacting, and then you are expected to stay on there. Well, some of these people are staying on there for 2 straight days. I can't do that.
You know what? There's a difference between responding and continuing to, go on with it for days and days and days.
Right, but-
and there's no in between with you. It's either I will respond to what I want to respond to, and
Okay, well, this is a Facebook. If you don't like how I do Facebook, that's great. That's why I've explained in all of the
I'm
meetings,
just
send me
trying
an
to
email.
explain, you're the
I don't do
representative for the
Facebook at
village.
all.
Yeah.
You're the face, or spokesperson
Yeah,
for
my
the
head cut
village
off.
and the
I went on
council.
there one time.
You know, and that's.
I'm not the
I got
spokesperson
my
for
head
council
lopped
at
off
all.
and I got off.
Well, okay, not for council.
Right.
But you're the spokesperson for the village.
Right.
And you don't, and you choose not to respond to something.
Because you
That's
can't
fine.
respond to Facebook.
That's fine, I'm just
It's not
trying to
appropriate.
explain to you a situation that exists out there.
And that's fine. And some people prefer that I don't
And I
respond
told
because I
you
can
that-
promise you how many times people have told me that they are impressed at the fact that I do not respond and I do not get fed into the Facebook fights.
It's going on 7:15. Can I
Exactly.
ask a question?
Yes. Can we talk about streets?
Yeah, can we talk about
Streets.
streets? Yeah, please.
I would like to make this stupid list I have correct. So I have the Jordan Road storm sewer, there's the East Shore project, and the parking lot at the pool. I know there's a lot of other street projects going on. I'd
No,
just
there
like to have
really
a
is.
list of what they are.
I mean,
No, there aren't any.
That's it?
Unless you've created a new street. What could we be talking about? There is a project out there that is just sitting there. We haven't done anything with it, and that is the Maplewood Alder Vista Lakewood project. It's going to be a couple $100,000 depending on exactly how far we want to go
Okay,
into it.
slow down a minute. Maplewood.
Alder Vista, Lakewood area, basically Maplewood. The entrance right
At
there,
Cleveland Avenue.
right at Cleveland Avenue.
Maplewood, right.
There's
What, is that a
drainage
paving
issues.
issue,
It's a
or-
paving and drainage issue.
Okay.
It's a project that, we've discussed whether or not we want to go further with curbs and gutters because they're all deteriorated down through there. But if you start adding in curbs and gutter to that project, you're gonna be over $1 million, depending on how far you go.
I feel really ignorant when we're at a council meeting and people start talking about things like that.
Right,
I don't
that's
know
been
what it is.
that's been a topic for over 2 or 3 years.
I know.
And the reason that we hadn't done it in the past is because the Alder Vista connection was not open. The Alder Vista connection is now open, the project can be done. We only have X amount of dollars, and once again, that X amount of dollars, because we haven't done it, has increased significantly. And I would assume that this project is gonna be quite a bit more than we were anticipating, would be my guess.
They
Okay,
needed
now
the-
say that last part again, cause I'm trying to absorb all this.
No, I don't think we've really gone much further.
Yeah,
There's money for something?
no,
Okay.
no money's been allocated for it at this time.
I think there's
But
like
we were-
60 grand.
That's no money.
No,
But,
okay, I
that's-
agree.
That's essentially no money, but we had to wait because they said they will have to close, the entrance at Cleveland Avenue for a day or two, whatever, to get the apron in the front and all that, so that's why we had to wait for the Alta Vista to be opened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that allowed us to table the expense discussion as well. So now that it is open, we don't have an excuse for not having the discussion and figuring out how much it's gonna cost. And we did not ask Mike to go forward and price it out again, right?
I don't think so, just for the simple fact that,
Because we're ready to.
just with the East Shore Court project and all that stuff, we just really haven't.
Yeah, so just because it's gonna be a big expense, we generally liked to, mayors generally like to wait until it's a little closer so we can get a better idea of the actual price. Because we price it too soon or
Right.
Right. For
So
me, on
Mike wants to,
priority,
put
it's
it out
not.
there to bid.
It's not, yeah, I
I
agree.
just don't wanna be caught with my pants down, so I know what
Yeah.
all the street issues are.
No, and as far as the pool goes, that's just, it's never been paved before. Is that really a priority, getting it paved? And I'm the one that brought it up. It's just,
I would just environmentally,
No
it would
point
be
doing it
better.
in the winter.
Environmentally, it'd be better just to leave it stones. You
That-
don't have, if you put the paved thing down, then you've got all the runoff issues in the neighborhood and why add to that?
That's what
runoff
we were
So maybe we just
discussing,
get
the
some rock.
back part of
I
the
would get
lot has
smaller
become
rocks, I
largely
would just
dirt.
walk them barefoot.
And so there's mud in the rain,
not,
and we were
yeah.
talking about just
That's all my request.
we were talking about adding some gravel on the back
Right,
part of
right.
the lot.
Yeah.
Not
In the back?
paving it with blacktop.
well, no, I asked about both. No, I'm asking,
Tiffany asked about
I wanted to discuss, see if anybody had any ideas to do that, which I'm not in disagreement. It's $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 compared to a couple grand. I'm in for the rocks.
And that's a concern, but my main, it's not as.
But yeah, you're
Obviously,
right.
the reason it's gravel is because it's only used so many
Right.
months of the year.
Which makes sense.
And,
Well,
gravel
I got
makes
a
more
pri-
sense,
I
and
got
if you
a
wanna
price.
have, just rental flip-flops at the door, that'd be cheaper
We could do
for
that.
walking.
So, yeah.
I have one price from a person,
I thought you
it's
did.
just a rule of thumb, but
Yeah.
for adding gravel to the back of that lot, so that it is getting down to the dirt, so it is mud when it
We did
rains,
get
right?
some back. when they got done with the baby pool, they did
Yeah.
spread quite a bit out, but there's still, I mean, it can easily wait till next year, and we're gonna be budgeting some stuff for the pool this year. So be ready for that, obviously the slide and a couple things,
But it's $2,500, not
Yeah.
25,000.
exactly. No, I mean, I'm totally in for just getting some, so if we could just put some money, in the budget this year to get gravel next year, that'd be great.
Just put it in with the pool budget.
Yeah, just bumping it up a little bit. It sounds like we're gonna do okay this year again, depending on weather. Actually, we won't even get into that. The pool's gonna have to close way earlier than everybody's expecting, so
Well,
be
if it's
prepared.
not, thoroughly mud back there.
What's that? The pool's
The-
closed?
the-
All of our
What's the
lifeguards go to
rush?
Westerville. Westerville school start in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today.
Well, how many weeks is that? That the pool's supposed?
It's gonna
2
close
weeks?
August 12th.
August 12th. Totally closed?
No, we're gonna try to open from 8 to 4, but even at that, we only have like 3 lifeguards that can work from 8 to 4.
So it's not open
it's
till Labor
limited.
Day?
It's gonna be extremely because,
Would
most of them
you-
are in sports.
Oh, would you,
The weekends will be
initiate
fine.
with scheduling again?
Pool's closing
If
August
you're gonna do
12th.
that?
I don't think it'll be
Well,
that
they go
long.
back to school.
Kids are all going back to school and they're all in sports, so
The
they,
lifeguards are all going back.
usually
to
we
school.
follow Columbus schedule because of John, but all but one kid goes to Westerville. So anyways, that's not a streets topic. So if we can budget some more money for that, that would be awesome this year. So be prepared for that. And then the other parts is just, analyzing some of the curbs and gutters and all that kind of stuff and seeing what people want to do. I mean, that's probably going to be an OPWC loan or something like that, but do you
Well,
just let them all deteriorate and rot and forget about it? And I have had people contact me. I mean, they want their curbs and gutters fixed. I mean, some are mud, some are gravel, some are nothing, some are non-existent. I mean, we don't have any, but I'm saying the ones that are over there,
Well, you're
just
talking-
because we don't, like, mine's beautiful.
May I just ask, the money that, since Minerva Lake Road, I know that's.
Right.
It's not a fix, that's a new, curbs and gutters would be new, but could we use that fund that's for, I think,
There's one just for
just
Minerva
do,
Lake Road.
to
Isn't
do
there?
curb and gutter?
Just on Minerva Lake.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna do a curb and gutter project, I mean, it might sweeten the pot for whoever is doing it.
Good, that's a
to
good
give us
idea.
a better price.
It's a really good idea.
Just do this street, and then,
I mean, it's gonna be at least a 1-2 year project. My point is, if we had to do another loan of some sort, like an OPWC loan, or grant, or, whatever we could find, that's something, if you started now, you're not even gonna apply for the loan until next year, and it's gonna be a 2023 project, and that's if you start talking about it now. Because that's not something, so that's the only reason I bring it up, is do we wanna talk about it and start moving on it? Because it's gonna be 2 years to start budgeting for it and figuring out getting the grant writer back in here and doing all of that is not an issue, but it's something that I don't know financially what people want to look at.
well,
We're talking about
if we finish with
Curbs and
the,
gutters.
if we finish with the sewers, we
Right.
do finish this is our last round with the storm, right?
No,
No, there's-
oh, no, we probably got 3 more years of that, at least.
The
Matt,
standard
I would
rule
say,
of thumb,
but
That's minor.
But
I
there's
think.
not any, like, this is all in areas where we have problems, all the stuff coming up,
I know,
there isn't any problem.
I would agree with that, but I think the issues over here are gonna be so costly.
I,
I like your face on
I mean,
that.
we're not gonna have money, that's what I'm thinking, is almost stopping the televising of the storm sewers.
No, I think we should continue, I mean, even that,
It's
you know.
30
Well, let's see
grand.
what let's see what we
That-
find
that-
out from
storm
this.
sewers are
I mean-
urgent.
Yeah.
They were neglected to literally the point where they collapsed.
Well, yeah.
But when
that's
I
what-
went up there in the
that's
storm and I saw what that water was doing to, one after the other, after the other, after the other house, I went,
Well, that's why I think.
I
it's-
can't believe these people aren't down here with hose and pitchforks.
No, they're on Facebook.
We
They're
don't
on
have, yeah, but we
Well, I
did,
don't go on there.
you know, we finally have a solution and now we're moving forward in a happy time, so, I mean, it's still not gonna get done like right
No.
away, but at least
It'll be good.
we've
I mean,
gotten
I-
past the impasse.
Well, curbs and gutters now, kind of the rule of thumb all along is that if a curb needs repair, an existing curb needs repair because of some sort of issue, then if that's the responsibility of the village, then
We've had this
you
conversation.
don't have to give other people curbs that don't have them if you repair one.
No, there's just a special fund for Minerva Lake Road. It's a fund that can't be used for anything else except
The issue that I see
Streets.
with that
the
is,
street
well-
that goes from Minerva, from
Yeah,
Cleveland Avenue to 3.
but regardless
And
of
there's
the
only
fund.
one, but that was a secondary thing, but, you know,
Right.
repairing the curbs and gutters we have, how do we do that? I mean, is this all just Mike Flickinger again? I mean, someone's gotta then go around and assess or mark, calculate
Well, I
costs, I
think
don't
we
know how
need
you
to-
do a bid on it,
I heard, at one point I got an estimate from somebody and I thought he told me it was like $15 something for curb and gutter, I don't know, he gave
$50 a
me
lineal foot.
something,
I mean, get the guys that did Westerville, you know, they did a really pretty good job.
yeah, they did.
Of just cutting and pasting and putting that back together, the
Yeah.
curbs there,
Mhm.
going
Oh,
to the
yeah.
community building, community Westerville.
I mean, for me, I know, thinking about the curbs and gutters is that, you know, getting into a curb and gutter project should happen along with the repaving.
Correct.
You know, because if you start fixing curbs and gutters.
I think you need to get this, they're not falling, yeah, don't create more problems until we're done with the sewers, I mean, because we don't have issues. I mean, I understand they're deteriorating over there, but they're not gonna get it, I mean, they can
Well,
continue to
we
get
were
worse,
talking-
but,
We were talking about over there on Maplewood was that we were gonna redo the street
And then
and the
keep going.
curb and the gutters.
right,
When
You
they're
know, which
building a
makes sense,
brand
but
new
to
street.
go and
Right.
redo curbs and gutters on Minerva Lake Road may not be.
Well, we don't have them,
okay, I gotta take this.
I don't have
When
them,
they're building a brand new
Oh.
street.
they're only way up there,
There's, all right.
yeah.
Well, but it may not be a good idea unless you're combining that with a street repaving.
I get you, because, you know, they make them deliberately a little higher than the street, assuming you're gonna pave, right?
Well,
Yeah, because
I know
when they
what's
build a
happened over
brand new
here
street, the
is that
curbs
they paved
and the
those.
gutters are put in first. And you'll see quite a bit of distance down to the gravel, and then they come in and pave it. Now, some repavers just wanna pave over the top of the existing pavement, and the street starts
Well-
building
And
up.
that's what
what's
happens
happens.
over here
Yeah.
in Wildwood as well, and Woodley, the same thing, that is what's happening, has happened over there, so.
And it's a lot more money to try and excavate the street,
To
rather
remove
than
that.
just pave over the top of it.
Well, yeah,
And
but
I-
so-
we've already done that, it's like
Yeah.
having
Right,
two
but if
layers
you-
of shingles on.
but if
your
you
roof.
did curbs
We're
and
at the
gutters
point where there
first.
ain't no more layers going on.
No more layers, it's gotta be the hard job.
If you did curbs and gutters first,
Maybe we-
you could be off on the elevation of it. see?
Right.
Maybe we could real quick talk about this four signs and,
Yeah,
Oh, I thought that was just a done deal, we're not gonna get
well,
them.
I know Joe would, you know, talk about it.
Well, what
I think
happened was,
from
I was just
a
gonna ask-
recommendation from the committee that we not do anything. I mean,
Right, that-
okay, we're all on the same page.
I don't think
there
we
were
should
so
do
many
that.
complaints
Just
that
get over it,
we
you
need
know?
to address it and get over it's one of the things, because
Yeah.
why do you, you know,
It was a silly
I
thing
can
to have
see
all
how they
those
did
streets.
that, but at the same time, why would you have to put street signs out for streets that's not the street?
Yeah,
Well, I think it was back in the day because it was one way in, I don't know why. It was a unique situation.
well, some people, that, everybody's got different ideas and opinions, and someone thought that was a nice way, maybe they thought, the comment that I heard the most was, that's how I tell my family how to find the street, is because
Four-
there's extra
four
signs,
signs.
there's 4 signs on one pole.
Well, and they did the same thing down at Park Lane in Jordan,
Yeah.
you know.
So maybe there's, so we can't
Well,
do that now, and we're not gonna do
That
that
would be the
now.
only alternative, would be to look and see if there was some way to mark the streets that you could see, you know.
We
But
could change that
people have
sign
GPS now,
to
for
Maplewood, etc.
People have GPS.
And
now.
more.
I got a map on a
And
TV
more.
screen. So,
People have GPS now, they should be able to.
turn on your
Get past
GPS.
it.
Well, and that's why I think it's a good idea not to have all the signs, because
Yeah.
once it gets confusing. Yeah, how many words you gotta read? I know I'm getting old, can barely make out one.
Yeah, what are you supposed to go 20 miles an hour on Cleveland Avenue? Maybe that was okay when it was just a 2-lane street.
Right.
But,
Yeah. Well, it was bigger than that when Minerva Park started, because they had a trolley line.
I mean,
going
it
up
was
Cleveland.
it was just something people have to get over. I mean, think of all the streets, I think of all the people I visit, where it's a street and a street and a street and a street and a street, and I mean, I was would you put all this, no, you
Right,
can't do that
no.
everywhere, you
Right.
go, I mean, it's just,
Well, I think it's fine the way it is.
it's fine the way it is, I agree,
And
I agree with something.
if everybody wanted it, which they don't, there's probably some other way to mark those streets down the street a ways or something, but I haven't even looked. So I went, you know,
So are we good for the meeting here?
Columbus says no signs there, there's not gonna be any signs there.
7:27, how are we doing?
Okay, the last thing is, how should we prepare for this meeting with Mike? Just show up, or do you think we should work on,
Well, I'm
here's my
hoping that it
question.
just gives us some information to look at, and then
Right.
we can figure out what questions to ask.
But you know,
Perhaps when he submits, he's supposed to submit, right?
Right.
Well, the only-
Final, and then you can call a meeting, and we can review it and get a list of questions for him, and then set up a meeting with him, but,
yeah, well, that's what the meeting's set up for the end of the month, he's coming in with a new report.
oh, he is coming in for sure?
With a new report.
Well, I don't know that
have
he's
that on-
coming in, he's
I
just
don't-
he's
Yeah.
gonna provide a report, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna get that report, take a
Well-
look at it, that's my hope, take a look at it, and then figure out what we wanna ask him.
Yeah, because the general thing for council is just, you know, if we, for some reason, there was some order where Mike is thinking about fixing this section, but we want it over here, and some things, you know, priorities and the order of work.
Well, we'll ask him not to, Tiffany can do that, we'll ask him not to come until after he's submitted the documents to us and we've had a chance to look at them.
Now, I'll say one other thing when it comes to East Shore, I had no, you know, of course I lived there, but I had no idea that this was the case until these last storms the last week. And I went over and looked at that, and virtually over 90% of the water that floods there is backflowing out of the storm sewer from the Jordan storm sewer.
That's why I've always
If
been-
somebody 10 years ago had thrown 5 bags of cement in that, you know, catch basin, it wouldn't have ever happened. And this is what Mike said when he designed the job. He said it's below the level of the storm sewer. So the water has to actually try and flow uphill to come out. But what happens is you have so much head pressure and a 30-inch pipe when the water's coming down, naturally it's going to go down that little leg and come out. And it's a significant amount of water. And I didn't know if that was intentional or not. I thought, how could this be for 10 years and somebody doesn't figure out how to put a cork in the bathtub to keep the water in it, you know? Or,
Well, that's what, you know, we were trying to fix that problem before we fixed the Jordan Road problem. I mean,
Right.
now
But
we're back on track.
my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, I don't see with what they've designed for the East Shore project, with like all of this filled dirt and everything, all of it just to get the catch basin up a little bit higher than
Joe, I
the
said
storm
this over
sewer.
and over again, Joe, I said, we're probably not gonna have to do that anymore
That's
because of this.
But that's what he's designed.
I understand that.
That's what's going to
That
go
was
on the
dis-
bid document.
No, it isn't. We haven't made that decision yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm,
But I just wanted to, I know you're probably aware of that. I was not aware that all that water was coming from the storm sewer. I thought it was drainage coming from all around the
The house.
area, and some of it was coming from there.
no, it's,
It's all coming from there.
well, most, yeah, I mean, it's still, the houses are still, I mean, with respect to behind your house, we first gotta get those people next door to you to get them.
That's who grabbed me on my way
Well,
over
but you
here.
need to, next time they accost you, okay, tell them they need to start getting their drainage, their gutters to drain to the curb. Because right now, their gutters are draining to their backyard. And
Well,
that's
we-
what the big problem is.
Well, we-
That will be the problem when we get Jordan Road fixed.
And when you and I decided that, in general terms, the best way to work on this is to look at it from the source all the way downstream to the termination point, mine's last, so I haven't even brought it up, my place, it's last.
When you
Mine's
got
the
yours
last stop.
fixed, and yours, you put that little, that pipe in that retention pond in your backyard that goes to the North Lake, right? I mean.
It goes to the channel,
To
it
the
goes to
channel,
the storm
yeah,
sewer.
go to that channel. So you've got yours taken care of in your backyard.
I
So
got
your
12
neighbor needs to get his gutter waters to the street.
Except for the water's coming
But
down,
that's-
there's more water coming faster. So I put a 12-inch drain, that's this big around, and then I put a 6-inch drain in there, and it could barely keep up. And it was, you know.
But we are talking about with the Jordan Road, with all the water coming down the Jordan River.
But I haven't even put mine in there because I'm working on it and it's last.
Oh.
Next door is where they're planning to put this huge amount of filled dirt if it's built that way. And the people are arguing over there now. Well, some of them want filled dirt, some don't. Other guys go and fill it up, and I had to explain. I said, this isn't a landscaping job. It's a, you know, flood prevention and flood draining deal.
I just feel for the,
So I think it ought to be separate, just taken out. That would save some money, but
I
I
don't,
could go over there and I could put a drain like I did at my own house in there and run it down to the storm sewer and do it on, you know, homeowner's budget. And I'd only have to pay half, the guy next door would pay the other half, you know. But I don't know what, you know, the village or the engineer wanna do on that.
Well,
It could be separate.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
He's gonna present.
You know, because really, part of the East Shore Court project is connected, the Jordan Road stuff will end up connecting into the pipe.
But it doesn't have to.
It
It has to get to North Lake.
yeah, that's
Well,
where all the water.
Here's what I'm saying, there's a retention pond.
Yeah, no, but
There's a
see,
retention pond here, the storm sewer comes down here, there's an open channel behind my place, and there's a catch basin here, and all the water flows from this out of this and then floods and it flows this way. There could be a catch basin put in here, and it is downhill from there to the open part of the storm sewer where they're talking about doing a head wall. And you could simply put a drain in there and run the line down here, and then that could be done very simply, very inexpensively. If it isn't connected to the storm sewer, it might get done before the 10 years from now.
well, we're planning, I
Unless,
thought we were still
would the
planning
village
on.
object if
I
me and
thought-
my neighbor put one in ourselves?
Well, I'm not sure you should work in.
I think, well, we'll get to,
Yeah.
you know, the East Shore Court's gonna get brought up again, Joe, once.
Well, the East Shore Court is budgeted for this year, hasn't it, Tiffany?
Well, here's what I thought.
No, we don't have, this project's
Sure, Cory?
10,000 times more than we were expecting it to be. No, we have
Yeah.
money budgeted, but it's
I
nowhere
thought
near.
Mike and I stood in the back there when this first started, and he said, he tried to put me on the spot. He goes, what do you think that would cost? I said, I get 5 minutes to estimate the job you guys been working on? He goes, yeah. And I said, $70,000. He said, we were thinking 68. Now it's 200 and something.
Well, but there's a lot involved in that.
But East Shore could be taken out of it. Now, I'm asking this as a theoretical question. If the guy that lives there decided he put in a drain like I did, and there wasn't even one necessary, wouldn't that just be removed from the Jordan Road project?
Well.
That's a theoretical question. I'm not talking about really doing that, I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, I think that might be a question for the mayor.
Joe, we're gonna talk about this again.
Yeah.
After we get
I just-
back.
Well, but
I just
you
don't
don't
think
need
we
to
have
do
to
that
find-
later to answer the question. If he decided he wanted to put a drain in, is he permitted to do it?
But see, what you're not understanding, yeah, he's allowed to do that.
Okay.
He's allowed to do that, but that
Okay.
doesn't change, it doesn't change all the stuff going on in the East Shore project.
I understand
East Shore
that.
Court project.
I
There's like
understand
3
that.
different parts to that.
But he has explained that the only reason he's putting like all this fill in is just to raise the catch basin.
Right, because it's below grade, I mean, it's.
Right. But it's above the grade of the storm sewer. It's downhill from there to the storm sewer. You put a pipe in, the water runs out. You don't run.
I get what you're saying, because he's
And
trying, I get what you're saying, Joe, that's why I'm gonna say it one more time, Joe. That part of the project is not gonna go forward the way it has been designed,
Okay.
okay?
That was been
Is
the
that what we're
problem.
going, because
This
this
is
is
where
what
the
I've been
problem-
talking about for years, is that we should not address that part of the problem until we get the Jordan Road stuff fixed, because that's
Which
where all
we're
the
doing.
water, which we're doing, that's why that portion, the raising up the grade is more than likely not going to happen.
Good. because
That's
they
what
don't want it.
I'm not gonna say 99,
But-
percent, but it's more than likely not
Well-
gonna happen because we're gonna eliminate the water from getting back there in the first place.
I'll just make the other point, and then if there's nothing else, we can get out of here.
Okay.
But, you know, there was all this talk when it very began about trees, and people losing trees, with John, this and that and the other. And what I was showing you, the drain line, no matter who put it in, there's no tree problem there. There's a giant lane that goes through there, you could run
I
it.
get what you're saying, Joe. It could have been, there's other ways that could have been accomplished. But we haven't decided what we're doing for
Well,
sure.
it wouldn't be
But I
a
can
6-inch
say
pipe.
that I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have to go to raising 4 feet up off the
No,
ground.
if you ran a separate pipe, it would have to be probably 8 or 12 inches or 10 inches. It wouldn't, I don't think 6 would
All right,
do it.
are we done?
Well,
We adjourned?
yes. I think all in favor of concluding the streets meeting, say aye.
Yes,
Aye.
all right.
Aye.